space fights, weird aliens, and Rihanna. Oh, honey, you had us at Luc Besson directing. We've got the new trailer for Valerian, and we are watching it live here on Screen Junkies News. Our first full-length trailer for Valerian dropped this morning. The film chronicles Dane DeHaan and the Oscar-winning Suicide Squad's Cara Delevingne embarking on an intergalactic mission to the space city of Alpha. Based on a popular French comic, the film has been a passion project for Fifth Element director Luc Besson's for years. But in addition to all the action, we're hearing there is some great comedy in this trailer. Is this sci-fi epic actually a buddy cop comedy in disguise? Are they giving us Lethal Weapon in space? Are Dane DeHaan and Cara Delevingne actually two different people? Because it's kind of hard to tell. Well, with me to watch the trailer and talk all about it are Daniel Radford, GJ Woldridge, and on social media, Charlie Feldman. All right, guys, let's watch a trailer that better be as good as The Professional. Yeah. Right? Jonathan? Pretty.
This is simple in and out. Agent Valerian, you'll be running solo.
I only work with my partner.
Hi.
We're a team.
They really look like brother and sister.
Yeah. He's got bangs.
That's how you tell the difference.
Yeah. He's the one with the bangs.
It's pretty awesome.
Running nearly 20 minutes late.
Yeah, well, time flies when you're having fun.
Ooh. I like that they still have Hawaiian shirts in the future.
Obviously.
Fashion never dies.
Listen, Magnum PI never dies. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Alpha. The city of 1,000 planets.
Man, I want to live in a bubble
Where
city.
for hundreds
The
of
Matrix.
years, every
Not the Matrix
species
Matrix.
has shared their knowledge and their
Oh, that
intelligence with each other.
Ooh, cool.
It's paradise.
Yeah, hey, girl.
Was that Charlie Feldman?
Yeah.
That kind of
After
looks
centuries
like
of
a little
peace and
Wonder Woman.
prosperity,
I could see that.
an unknown force wants to destroy all we have created.
Are those the Navi from
Agents
Avatar?
Valerian,
Exactly.
you have less
They're
than
the white
10
Navi. They
hours
live
to
on the
fly
other side of
this
When
Avatar.
they get a tan instead of going blue, they turn into like pale white. Yes.
Give me that space stuff.
I can't believe they
That's
threw Lucy in
beautiful.
there.
The whole universe is after us.
We need the two of you to be the guardians of our future.
Yeah, kick him in the face.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Oh, I don't want to see them kiss. That will totally freak me out.
Just, it's one of those things like if you could make out with your clone, would you?
Yeah.
Yes.
With the costume change. Yes. It is creepily Navi looking.
I taught him how to do that.
Cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll watch that.
I'll watch that. All right. Well, DJ, since
Yes.
you want to watch that,
Yes.
what got you excited in that trailer?
I like good sci-fi. I like a good space opera. I think Dane DeHaan, Cara Delevingne are both attractive people that I like looking at.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does. I'm a little bit worried because it reminds me a lot of John Carter, which was another thing. I know, because that's something that Star Wars ripped off a lot. And then they're like, let's go back to the original. Everybody's like, but Star Wars is popular. Like,
Yeah.
and now it looks like you're ripping off Star Wars, even though Star Wars technically ripped this off first.
Interesting. Well, I mean, when I watch that, I'm getting all the Fifth Elements.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan of Luc Besson. I love the Transporter series. I mean, right up until number 3. Number 3 is where they really lost me.
You know,
Did he just
this
produce
feels
those or
right to you.
direct
He
those?
produced those.
Okay.
But I like his vision.
Yeah.
I mean, The Fifth Element, The Professional, when he goes smaller, like La Femme Nikita.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
that's when it's dope. But the fact that he can, like, Lucy was so interesting because he really pushed himself in terms of visuals in terms of like creating like world building, and this is very Fifth Element world building, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting now that kind of that difference between with Fifth Element, everything was so practical, and now in this, it's so much. It's almost like the scene when they're going down, and you see that big city, and they're kind of in the alley. That looks like an updated Fifth Element scene.
Yeah, for sure.
Which had me immediately
with a little bit of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Yep.
Like a little tiny bit. Oh, Fifth Element's the best.
Well, so apparently Luc Besson's been a fanboy of Valerian since he was a young boy, right? Do you think he already basically made his Valerian with Fifth Element? Like, isn't it weird? It's probably, he was probably homaging a lot with Fifth Element.
And now he's just got the technology, he's got the backing, and he's able to do whatever he wants. It's a really good question.
But it's kind of always better when you make your own thing off of what inspired you. So like, I'm just, could this be a lesser Fifth Element, basically?
This has Rihanna in it, so I don't know.
Fair enough.
Well, let's break this down a little bit more. So we've got Agent Valerian and Agent Laureline. What do we know about them? Danielle, you actually got to see this trailer early on Monday, so you've now seen it how many times? 3, 4?
Probably like 5 now, because I think we saw it twice while we were there.
Okay, so you were at this event where they showed it to you. What can you tell us, maybe beyond what we've seen?
So obviously this is based on like a French comic that's been around for a bajillion years. So not only is this a bunch of space stuff, it's also a bunch of time stuff. Like I don't know, sexy Doctor Who core or whatever. So Valerian, that's what he does, is like he's not just like an agent of like space, it's also through time.
Cool.
And so he was born in the Terran Empire in the 28th century, at least in the comics. And Laureline, this is interesting, she is an 11th century French peasant who makes her way to the 28th century with him, and then she also becomes an agent.
Interesting. So they're not related.
No, well, I mean, how do we know it's not his like great grandma?
It's just
Solid
weird.
point.
Like this is the question, DJ. Like if you could make out with a girl who looked just like you.
No, look at me. No. Are you kidding?
Looking.
No.
Liking.
No.
Yes. Come on.
That would be a mistake.
Danielle?
Well, isn't there that thing about like faces and like you're attracted to people that kind of look like you?
Sure.
So they're just like they see each other across the crowded room and their narcissism just kicks in and you're like, it's me, but with bangs.
Yeah, that's like that awesome Broad City episode where like, I'm telling you, I don't know.
Good reference.
All right, fine. Well, we know that they are in this mythical city. One of them's from the 11th century. One of them's from the 28th?
28th century.
29th?
Yeah, 29th.
Who do we think they're fighting, DJ? Like, what are they actually battling against?
The 1,000 Other Worlds.
World number 1, Alpha.
Well,
World number 2.
okay, so what we saw in the trailer, the whole universe is after them.
Yeah.
And they're trying to save the white Navi people.
Yeah. Who kind of maybe are now inhabiting the land that Wonder Woman comes from, because it's a little Wonder Woman.
It's a little close. All right. Possible spoiler warning, speculating here. Maybe it's Rihanna.
They're fighting Rihanna?
Maybe it's Rihanna.
Wait. But
Maybe she's the big bad. We don't know.
yo.
You just fight her with music and
I
like
want
laugh.
Like you just fight her with auto-tune?
Yeah.
Oh my God, like she hits a note and you auto-tune her and it warbles her like interior, like inner ear and she gets all screwy. I'd watch that
And
movie.
now, lip sync for your life.
Oh, Danielle's winning my heart right now. Okay, let's be a little honest. Luc Besson can be hit or miss. Luc Besson, when he is directing, tends to be hit. Luc Besson, when he is producing and or writing, can be miss.
Yeah.
For every like Fifth Element, we get a Colombiana, which is not a terrible movie.
Yeah.
It's just not Fifth Element.
Got it. Yeah.
So, are we nervous at all that he's tackling so much and, like you said, has so much personal investment in the source material? Or is that like, yes, that's what we need from Luc Besson?
I think it's probably going to be fine. It's probably going to be fine. Is it going to be great? I don't know. It also reminds me, I think the first trailer came out around the same time as the Passengers trailer. So I get those wires crossed in my brain, and that was not anything I was interested in.
So far, DJ,
I'm lowering my expectations.
You dropped John Carter and Passengers.
These are the things that run through my brain. All right. I'm sorry.
I feel as if you're not sold.
I will see it. I will see it, but I'm lowering my expectations. It's always, listen, my expectations were very low for Power Rangers, and I ended up enjoying it.
Yeah.
Low expectations can be very beneficial.
They should put that on the cover.
Yeah. Lower expectations
can be very beneficial.
I think that's actually on one of the Rotten Tomato things that was scored fresh.
Yeah.
Well, Danielle, because you have seen this so many times now, you've seen it 2D and 3D.
Yes. Yeah.
Which D is better? If I want the D, what D do I want? The 2 or the 3?
How dare you? So with this, it's the 3D. I found it to be more immersive than distracting. You know, it's not one of those ones where you see a bunch of stuff flying towards your head, like those old Second City parodies, or anything like that. It isn't quite Avatar, but that's fine because Avatar's a ride. It's an experience. For me, seeing this in 3D, especially, you know, that scene where you've got all the little dudes that Matrixy scene where they're climbing up around on the circuits, just the depth that you get to see in that. And because this is such a big, like you know,
that's a rad scene.
Yeah, it's the difference between seeing a picture of the Grand Canyon and going to the Grand Canyon. You can really see and feel like the depth of this huge world that he's created. And yeah, it didn't feel at all super. This was like the only shot where it's like, oh, look, it's a thing flying towards me. But everything else was just like, oh, I feel like I'm in this huge world. And that's, and I have to preface this, I have to do the glasses over glasses 3D technique.
Oh,
so it's probably even better for those of you who bought yourself some contacts.
See, that's the thing. That's the reason why I tend to stay away from 3D because I have to do the same thing and it tends to bug me. But that Grand Canyon comparison is selling me big time.
So that's a solid maybe on the 3D.
No,
I'm seeing it for you. I see it, DJ.
I'm kidding.
I am now spending the money, and I am going to see it in 3D now. They 100% sold me.
I'm starting to become more open to the idea of 3D because I saw the trailers for Jungle Book, and they looked like garbage to me. And then I saw it in 3D and it looked great.
Yeah.
So sometimes 3D helps.
Sure. Okay. Since you've disparaged this film terribly, comparing it to John Carter, let's compare it to things that are good. Like you said, this is sort of a Fifth Element rework. Were there any parts of the trailer, DJ, that reminded you of either Fifth Element or Star Wars or anything else that is a good reference?
The spaceship reminded me of the Millennium Falcon. Rihanna reminded me of the singer from Fifth Element.
Oh, which I actually love. That's one of my favorite scenes. That opera scene is so great.
Like a combination of the singer from the Fifth Element and Ruby Rod.
Yes.
That would be... That's hitting me everywhere I need anything that he does to hit me.
Well,
just the combination of those two things. And yeah, that ship is 100%. So Millennium Falcon-y.
Yeah, and also the cityscape. We've talked about the cityscape already, but it's very Fifth Element.
And that desert era.
Desert's very Star Wars. Yeah.
I think the more it embraces how weird it can be, which it looks like it's really embracing, I think that's a plus. I think that's a solid. I think that'll make the movie much more enjoyable.
Well, we're embracing weird, but are we also embracing funny? Are they pushing the comedy element? Because we talked about this a lot recently. We talked about like the comedy in Spider-Man. We talked about the Batman jokes in Justice League.
I like those jokes.
You like a good dad joke?
I like the. I'm sorry. I'm a DC fan. I'm gonna go see that movie.
You don't have to. We're all gonna go see that movie, bro.
I enjoyed Suicide Squad.
Oscar-winning
Suicide Squad. Anyway.
So. Are they pushing comedy because that's what's intrinsic to the source material, or are they pushing the comedy because that will sell better?
Well, I mean, Luc Besson's never been. He's not really. There's always fun in his movies. His movies are typically a lot of fun. So that doesn't. The
Professional is a laugh.
You know, even then it's got. I mean,
no,
like
totally.
between him, it's still.
There's always like a wink. There's always like some sly humor. 100%. I mean, the Fifth Element has a lot of comedy in it, definitely. But do you think they're pushing that?
It's funny because they didn't put as much of the comedy. There is a lot of the comedy in this trailer, but I feel like in that first teaser, they had way more of the comedy and showing off the chemistry between Boy One and his sister. Like just showing off a lot of the chemistry between them in like that first trailer. And so I definitely, and like you said, like humor is what he does when he hits these huge sci-fi moments. So you know it's going to be fun. It's going to be light. It does help that some of the biggest kind of superhero-y or out there movies lately have been comedies. Like obviously Deadpool was huge, and obviously Guardians of the Galaxy. So it makes sense for people to say, hey, let's do two things.
Yeah.
Let's make our movie a two thing.
Yeah. Make it big, but also make it funny.
Yeah.
You know what I also love about Luc Besson that we have not touched on at all yet is he does amazing, fantastic female leads.
Yeah.
Like he makes
Absolutely.
really great, strong female action heroes, and I'm excited to see what he brings out of Cara Delevingne. What do you guys think?
It's interesting though, because the original comic was Valerian and Laureline, and so they dropped her from the title, which is weird.
Yeah.
You know,
Instead, making it Valerian
just
and the
Valerian,
city of
which is
1,000
easier to
planets.
pronounce. It's better than Valerian and Laureline and the city of 1,000. I get
Right.
it, but it's just strange that she was dropped from the title.
Interestingly, I did not know until we watched the trailer just now that Valerian was the name of a character. I thought
Yeah,
it was
it's
the name
one
of
of
the
the-
world.
yeah.
I guess
So, but I can see how if you don't go in with a lot of information, that
Yeah.
could still sort of make sense. But that is,
Yeah.
well, I take it back.
No.
But you know who is a super strong, awesome female? Charlie Feldman, who's over on socials.
This guy?
That's you! This one! So we went to social media and said, is this movie worth the price of 3D admission? And you've got some answers for us.
I do have some answers, but I'm going to defend John Carter for a second. John Carter is a lot better than people actually realize. The marketing campaign was bad, but it was a really fun movie. So John Carter,
I
I'd
never
actually
said it
give
was
it my
bad.
seal.
I just said this reminded me of that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So we asked you guys out there if this was worth the 3D bucks. Devin Colson very directly said Valerian looks like one of those movies you would see in 3D. So yeah, I'm sold.
Cool.
But we've got some other talk. We got a lot of Jupiter Ascending talk.
Oh, yeah. You guys, shots fired. John Carter, Jupiter Ascending, Passengers. Whoa.
I liked Jupiter Ascending. We've had the
We can all defend something, you know?
yeah we have had the discussion about how sometimes things that are not super great on first glance can be fantastic once you get in a lot of spectacle.
Look,
and I'll defend
Can I get a fact check
I will-
on what is the Rotten Tomatoes score on Jupiter Poop Sending?
Yeah, it's not good, but that's why I like it. I like it because it's bad.
And I love Channing Tatum, and I love the Wachowskis.
He's a puppy man.
He's a space puppy.
He's a space puppy.
Ain't no space garbage like space movie garbage. We can all appreciate. But I thought it was really interesting that Jonathan Peck and Rocky Drago 66 brought up the opening weekend. So Valerian goes up against Dunkirk. It goes up to, against Christopher Nolan. So he says, Rocky Drago says, or sorry, to misgender, Rocky Drago 66 says, if Dunkirk is a lion, then Valerian is a newborn kitten. Dunkirk is going to destroy this movie.
whoa.
What do you guys think? What wins? Space, colorful, hopefully not
Sure.
garbage, or very serious historical reenactment?
Well, so here's what's interesting. So that is great counter programming, actually.
Yeah.
And so for STK or STX to put this up in that position actually makes a lot of sense. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say that Valerian will actually win the weekend.
Yeah, because I think more kids will go see it. More
Yeah.
teenagers, more.
Yeah.
Because Dunkirk looks super adult and not like graphic, just like theme-wise, very
Yeah.
like grown up.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a hard
It'll be
summer
great.
movie sell. It's also Dunkirk will be longer,
Yeah.
so they're not going to have as many showings. It will not have the 3D money, and I really truly feel like with Cara Delevingne's social media following, like people I
Yeah.
think just want to see her despite this whole thing from
Yeah.
the Oscar-winning Suicide Squad.
She brought a lot of cars to the car wash, though, so
Yeah.
it's totally fine.
It's the Jimmy the Monster. I feel like people want to see what she can do, and this is her really acting. There was that other movie that she did where she disappeared, the Fox movie where like
Paper Towns.
Thank you, Paper
Yeah.
Towns.
Yeah.
And I feel like the only reason that movie saw any real box office was because of
Her eyebrows. Mm-hmm.
Well, her
They are some
they're
good
like the
eyebrows.
They are
milkshake.
some
They
good
bring the boys
eyebrows.
to the yard.
Yeah.
But Luc Besson, I mean, Lucy was completely under the radar and then busted way over 100 million. People
Yeah.
were like, whoa,
Yep.
where did that come from? Luc Besson is so visually stunning. This does have a lot of Avatar. It does have a lot of Star Wars. It does have a lot of Wonder Woman. I think it's going to crush.
It doesn't have Scarlett Johansson though.
It does
And that probably
not.
helped Lucy quite a bit.
But it's got Rihanna.
It does have Rihanna. That is true.
Get that Rihanna bump.
The whole Christopher Nolan of it all, people really show up for Christopher Nolan movies, so I don't know.
True.
The fact that he has the prestige behind him, I think it'll be a really, really great weekend for movies, frankly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Who needs sunlight?
Interesting. Well, so you've got, on one hand, a sci-fi buddy cop where maybe brother and sister make out epic. And then you've got Dunkirk.
Yeah.
What are you guys going to go see? DJ?
Oh, if I had to choose, gun to my head, Dunkirk.
Danielle?
I'm going to go watch Rihanna. I'm going to go watch the aliens. I'm hanging out with aliens that weekend.
Guess what?
House divided.
Danielle and I will be sharing an extra large popcorn, sitting side by side with Junior Mints, because I'm going to go see Valerian that weekend too.
This is
because
where we're
I
at.
want to have fun, y'all.
Yeah.
But we want to know, what do you think? What will you see opening weekend? And are we actually getting a Space Buddy epic? Let us know in the comments below. You can tweet us at SJ News. Make sure to like and subscribe. Of course, you can always click here for more Screen Junkies news. We'll see you again soon. Be good.